Going to the Dogs is a popular night out in Peterborough. There's racing here 4 nights a week, all year round. Punters can choose between a 4-course meal in the comfort of the grandstand restaurant or get closer to the action on the rails. Either way, there's plenty of opportunity to study the form and pick a winner. If the plans for a casino in Peterborough get the go-ahead, these punters appear keen to switch from the dining tables to the gaming tables.
Oh, I would definitely try that, yeah.
Peter for a neat bit, more life really, you know, something different to do.
I think it's something that perhaps a lot of people would enjoy taking part in. I mean, everything you do in life is a gamble to a certain extent.
To say a right riveting read. This book is out, The Good Sex Guide 2. It's number 2, you see. There's always been a number 1, but there's a number 2. And let me tell you, it is saucy, to say the least. And the author is here, saucier herself, Susie Heyman. Hello, Susie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Do you really, how do you come up with all these positions, Susie?
Oh, practice, definitely practice. You've got to practice, you've got to practice.
Oh, God. I was going to say, I was going to show you some, but I think...
My research assistant's around here somewhere.
Oh, really?
Tall blonde one.
I was going to say, how handsome is he?
He's gorgeous, he's absolutely gorgeous. I'm married to him, though, you can't have him.
I like it. Why did you come up with this?
Well, basically the new series is out.
Yeah.
Good old Margie Clark strutting her stuff again.
Oh, yeah.
And I was involved in a lot of the ideas that went into the series, and they asked me to write the book.
Right.
So
Is
I
it sort of
did.
like a manual? Is it a manual or not?
It runs parallel with the series, so the idea is that you can see the television series on its own, you can read the book on its own, or you can see them both together. A lot of the ideas obviously cross over,
Right.
but there's a lot of new stuff, there's a lot of stuff in here which isn't in the series, so if you're watching it, you also really ought to buy this as well.
You'll miss out, won't you? How did it differ from the first one?
I think this one is far more relationships. The first, The Good Sex Guide 1 was very much on sex. It was very much on really almost the mechanics of it. This gets into, I mean, this is a question I keep getting asked to my agony page on Woman's Own. People write in. And I mean, people do ask about sex, but they also mostly ask about relationships.
Yeah.
But the relationship isn't going right, the love isn't going right.
Yeah.
And so what we really concentrated on in the series and in the book is relationships.
Does it sort of touch on the longevity of relationships and how you can keep it going and spice it up a bit?
Everything. How you make relationships, why they do or they don't work, how you can keep them going, and yes, how you can put good sex into a good relationship.
Right.
How, I mean, a lot of people actually have good relationships and the sex doesn't work, or vice versa. And it's how to really get them intertwined nicely.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think we've all had enough of sex books, or you can't really say that, can you?
Well, I wouldn't actually. It's interesting because I think the big problem is no, we don't. Because I mean, everybody keeps saying, oh, there's so much sex around. There's lots in the papers. There's all these books around. And yet, how come I keep getting these letters from people who say, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. We seem to talk about it in a nudge, nudge, wink, wink sort of way.
Oh, yeah.
But we still haven't got round to being able to talk calmly, clearly, frankly about sex to our nearest and dearest, the very ones that we need to talk to.
Right.
And that's why I think books like this are so important. And the other thing, of course, is we haven't got relationships right yet. We don't really understand who we fall in love with and why. And that's the new stuff that's in here, I think.
Right. Now, we have got a couple of reviewers, our nearest and dearest. We've got Ronnie Barber you're from our local radio station,
That's
aren't you,
right,
here in Peterborough?
Yes, and exhausted.
Are you
Because
exhausted?
I've read Susie's book, and I've read the New Joy of Sex as well, and Making Love, and I'm tired. Just reading them is
You
great.
see, you shouldn't have been practicing all the moves, Ronnie.
Fantastic.
If he'd been practicing the moves, he really would have been exhausted.
And Penny Bloom on the end. Mother of 3, I understand.
Yes.
You've had a good read, Penny. What do you rate A Good Sex Guide 2 to kick off with?
I thought it was really good. It's a sort of book that about 10 years ago, my mother had bought it for me as I was just starting out, perhaps in married life, perhaps in a long-term relationship. I would have been thrilled to bits with it. I think it is far more about relationships, really, because it covers up a lot more than just good sex.
Yeah.
I mean, it is good relationships, as you said, but I thought it was, I enjoyed it a lot. It was a good read.
Well, that's good. You're not just saying that because Susie's sitting
Yes, I
next
am.
to it. I'm betting you're not meant to give the game away.
Give me my money back. All right.
What about you, Ronnie? How did you find it from a man's point of view?
Of course, being a 90s man, I'm quite comfortable talking about sex and my sexuality, but I wouldn't go into a shop and buy it. I would get someone else to go and buy it for me.
Now, why?
The thing is, I'm incredibly disappointed because it asks so much of men.
Yeah?
It's already difficult for us to find out how to do it properly. And here's a book that's telling us how to do it properly, but we're not up to it.
No.
We're just not up to it.
Literally.
Exactly.
What would be your idea of a good sex guide, do you think, for yourself?
A good sex guide for me would probably be point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, finish.
Thank goodness you're married and not still on the market, Ronnie.
That's what all the... Well, but seriously...
Yeah.
And
very
it
often,
would come in a plain brown cup.
yes, for blokes to be completely comfortable with it, we need to be told what to do.
Yeah, yeah.
That's always been the thing.
The problem is that so many women fear that if they did start telling their partners what to do, the man would instantly you can't tell me. It's like backseat driving.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to do that. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But Susie's book actually is very good because it's not as complicated. The new joy of sex. I think I need scaffolding to try some of the stuff in here.
We will come on to that in a minute. We will come on to it in a minute because we've got Making Love. I wanted to go on to this one because there's I mean, they're quite explicit photographs, aren't they? I mean, how did you decide on using the ones that you used in your books?
Well, I didn't. I'm totally responsible for the text.
Right.
You can blame me for the text or you can praise me for the text. That's my business. But I must admit, the photographs, the whole design of the book is down to the publishers, and they make the decisions. And while I like it, sometimes I must admit I'm not entirely 100% because we were talking about this. The problem about these books is they make everybody look so beautiful.
Yes, she did look quite spunky there.
Very nice, very nice. I mean, I think we do like to look at beautiful bodies, but it's almost as if some people can get the impression that means that, well, it's not for me.
Yeah.
In the text, I do say, good sex is, as it were, belongs to you, whatever your age, whatever your looks, whatever your size, whatever your degree of handicap or disability or movement. It doesn't matter. You can still have good sex, and you have a right to it.
The trouble is, you see, when I'm overweight, I
don't
fancy it. You see, because I think I'm ugly and I don't want to sort of. No, I don't want to get.
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah.
I mean, Penny.
Well, I was going to say that when I was looking at these books, one part of me was thinking, well, why do I have to use such beautiful young people for these photographs? But on the other hand, I think that when you are having sex and you're enjoying it and it's dim lights and your partner's making appreciative, well, hopefully appreciative noises, and you feel like this, you feel young and you feel glamorous and you feel just as beautiful as the people in these books. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to buy a good sex guide that had anyone that looked probably like me, naked, rolling around.
Penny, no.
That's a pity. And almost on a sort of political stance, I would say that I'm sad about that.
Yeah.
But I think actually that
I know, I do feel, I must apologise, I don't think it's
But I think it's real, it's how we feel.
Yeah.
I would rather pick up something that looks beautiful.
Now, talking of that, the Making Love book, that is particularly glossy, isn't it?
Yes, I think that's like a Cosmopolitan article, whereas the good Alex Comfort book was like a National Geographic magazine.
I was going to say, what is in? Did you like the new Joy of Sex?
I didn't at first. I found it terribly off-putting. I mean, it's just so technical, so complicated, and so many long words, and so many, bits I'd never heard of. My husband really enjoyed reading it.
Did he?
Yes, he kept looking at
Ronnie,
that and then
nodding
looking
your head
at
up
me.
and down. You as well?
I just was dipping in and out of it, but I'm amazed. It's just, we were talking about this earlier as well. It's the good sex guide. It's good sex. I mean, really, for most of us, we want brilliant sex.
Yeah.
We want it fantastic. We want it great every time, and that's always a disappointment, isn't it? Because it's not always great.
No, exactly.
No,
I don't quite right, Ronnie.
I don't think you always want. I think sometimes you just want a nice, comforting.
Sorry, no.
Nice,
sex,
some
I think. I don't think you always
know you
want
two won't be ending up together then today, won't you?
Well, we haven't read all the books.
The message I'd like to say is that people ought to really be aspiring for good enough sex. In other words, it should be nice, as you say. And occasionally that means, yes, you'll hit the roof, and sometimes it'll just be nice and comfortable.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Penny, Ronnie, Susie, thanks ever so much. You're back on Friday with us, aren't you?
Yes, I am
Lovely.
indeed.
Susie Haven, our agony on Friday afternoon. Lovely stuff.